Hey there, YouTube. Welcome in on video. No, I'm your boy, Saint Ryan. No, today we doing a whole mess of it.
It's a whole mess of Vaden. Level 133, meta level quality build. 47 strength, 47 dex. These are the weapons we're using with the Ashes of War that are on them. And, yeah. You know, I love this invasion range. It's just such a good place to invade, with the exception of when you invade right in front of, you know, the boss fogs. That's so annoying. But the actual invasions themselves, when you get a good one, they're so good. This is a great level range. 125, 133, 138, whatever you want. 140. Anything between 120 and 140. Really gives you a chance to make a build that can do serious damage and take a couple hits and not die, and has flat defense as a result of leveling up, not just absorptions as a result of armor, but, you know, the fact that you've leveled up 133 times or whatever. That means that your flat defenses have increased, and so the damage that a password summoned level 300 Phantom or whatever, you know, that damage that they do is going to be much less significant. A single heavy attack with the straight sword was worth 4 katana hits, 2 L1s against this guy. Now, the spear talisman was doing a lot of work there, but, you know, like, that's part of the build, so, you know, that's what you can do. And the other thing is the cannon, the jar cannon, the ballista, you know, either one. Man, I love this. I just, such a great addition to this game. It's just the Invader's thing. You know what I mean? I'm going to interrupt my own thought for a moment just to show you an ultimate Saint Riot moment. You make a trade against two hammers like an idiot, but then you pull off this slick setup parry, and the slick setup parry leads into the slick backstab. Like, there's nothing more Saint Riot than, you know, doing something stupid and then immediately doing something that belongs on, you know, Sunlight Blade top 10 video. Anyway, back to the cannon, as you're about to see here. The cannon is so good. I used to make videos for Dark Souls 3 invasions, and I talked about great bows in those videos all the time, because people would say, oh, it's not fair that I invade and I've got to fight 4 people and they're just standing there. You know, most people don't have a problem invading 4 people or 3 people. It's just that when they make no attempt to, you know, make progress, they have essentially removed the invader's job. Like, the invader doesn't have anything that they're supposed to be doing. And From Software, like, obviously knows that, which is why you have all these things that allow you to pester people from afar if they feel like, you know, they shouldn't have to move. Well, you do have to move, because the jar cannon is going to physically remove you from where you are standing. Like, you have to move. Then the ballista, you know, there's other things as well. The cannon of Haima, Giant's Flame, Take Thee. There are several things that will get this point across, that, like, hey, you know, I'm not just gonna walk into the 3 of you standing there, not doing anything. You can't hit each other. You don't have friendly fire. You're just gonna blender the hell out of me. Why would I do that? I'm not stupid. I think you're stupid for thinking I'm going to be that stupid. You know what I mean? Jar cannon solves that problem. It's beautiful. Okay, I all the time am talking smack about co-opers, especially like the Elden Ring co-opers. They do this thing where I call it main character syndrome, where the Phantom loses track of who's the main character. I am not the main character. I'm like the bad guy. I'm the antagonist. The host is the main character. The Phantoms are just like the supporting cast. It's your job to protect the host. And I see people on Twitter someone said, like, oh, I won't follow a host if he falls for an obvious trap. That's especially when you're supposed to help him out. Like, you know, he doesn't know any better and you do. It doesn't matter if you die. It doesn't matter if I die. All that matters is that the host lives. Look at this phantom. Look at it. Now, you can say, like, oh, that was kind of boring or whatever, but he kept his host alive. He kept me at a distance with that stupid Ash of War over and over and over again. There was nothing I could do. I couldn't switch to the cannon fast enough to deal with that. So props to that guy for getting his host through the boss encounter like he's supposed to, carrying on Solaire's legacy. Most of these phantoms and invasions nowadays are like, they lose track and they're like, I'm the main character. As long as I don't die, everything's fine. But that's not how it works, homie. You're gonna have to look at a loading screen one way or another, you know? The host is the one who used a consumable to get you in the world. It's obviously not hard to get a furled finger remedy or whatever. It's not hard to make one of those or just pick one up or whatever, but the point is that, like, they're the one who asked for your help. You're supposed to help them. Oh, this invasion is great, and I have a question for people who might know. So this is level 133, and this is an earlier game dungeon. And there's a trap on the floor, and I want you to watch the damage that the trap does. Not very much, right? And you'll get another chance to see it right here. Not a lot of damage. I remember that doing a lot of damage. So my question is, do traps damage increase? Look at the cannon. Lovely. Does a trap's damage increase in New Game Plus, or does it stay the same? I have never considered that, but I was like, are these dudes in New Game, or are they in New Game Plus doing this dungeon? Because this is, like I said, a pretty early dungeon. And pretty much everything was dead with the exception of that Omen, and they melted him pretty quick, so, you know, not sure if this is a New Game dungeon or a New Game Plus dungeon, and they're just melting everything, and the trap's damage has not been scaled up. It's entirely possible that they're just, you know, late into the game and doing this dungeon. That's also a possibility. Like, oh, you missed this one dungeon, you know, maybe the prize for beating this dungeon is something that this host has decided that they want. I'm going to drop a Frenzied Flame Stone right here, in case somebody gets the wise idea to jump down and try and get healed off of it. It might drive them mad instead, but that didn't work. And this dude's hammer just absolutely giving me a shellacking. This is the only problem with the jar cannon, is when somebody chases you down, you've got to make that swap back to a real weapon. And, you know, it's not hard, but it is something you have to consider. The swap back to the sword, for me, I like the glaive. I love the Knight Rider glaive. You know, it's basically the Black Knight glaive of Elden Ring, and I loved the Black Knight glaive. But I kind of feel bad using it sometimes because it's so good. Look at the damage on the hammer's Lion's Claw smash. Just absolutely brutal, man. Thankfully, he really likes that attack, and that attack is really easy to backstab. You can just walk around it. You don't have to dodge it, but, you know, he doesn't know that. Alright, so, one last thing that the cannon can do, and that is serve as a weapon to chase people with, and this is just an absolute beautiful illustration of that. Emily is about to go fight the boss here, unless we can stop her with this last cannon shot. GG's. I'll have some more meta-level invasions for you real soon. Look forward to that, if you would, and I will see you then. Until then, later, y'all.